A Dodge sports car powered by a Ferrari engine? Sounds like it's going to be expensive to maintain, but I'm interested. What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. Here's some interesting information. I've talked about what the executives have been doing and in having their lackeys or the people that are under them talk to the engineering team, basically asking the engineers how fast could they spool up and get a V8 ready to work in the new Charger Daytona, right? And they said basically they have to redesign the strut towers. Now, there have been some engineers who have already done that work, and I have a separate video on that. And I actually have one, because it's not public information, that actually works for Dodge, that was willing to come on, and I want to do a live stream with them so we could talk about what has to happen for that to happen. Because I think we'll see a few different YouTubers. I'm not putting Junkyard Dave on blast, but like a Junkyard Dave or a Carl SRT or somebody will get that car and figure out how to cut and do what they got to do to make a Hemi or a Hellcat engine fit in one of those cars. But what I found interesting was, I don't know if you know this or not, but Stellantis, their board of directors, their ownership, their investors are pretty much the same as Ferrari. And when, basically what was going on, and before the Stellantis merger and other stuff that was going on, Ferrari was already spun off to do their own thing, right? And that's why I thought it made sense for Maserati to go back with Ferrari, but they're not doing that yet. But Ferrari actually stopped building a car or manufacturing this engine for this car for the Ferrari California. And it was interesting because a couple of different engineers have reached out to me, and they're not from the U.S. They're from other countries. And that's the other problem with Stellantis. If Stellantis thinks they're going to have any kind of security or they try to keep anything under wraps, that is not the case with the way you have stuff spread out at lower cost engineers right now, because they tell everything. Just like this. 3.9 litered V8 bi-turbo, which makes 550 horsepower and 550 pound-feet of torque. Now, I know I could have sworn the California used a 4.3, so unless it... that's probably what it was. Naturally aspirated versus turboed. Got it. Anyways. A Ferrari California engine. Now, I got to be honest. I know guys that have the California, and they're fairly reliable. They don't have some of the issues that some of the other bigger Ferrari engines have. That said, even if you call it a Dodge and you use the same architecture and building of that Ferrari engine, is the maintenance going to be Ferrari maintenance on that engine that you put into a Charger? That's the biggest question here. But it's kind of cool, because you guys that follow me or know me for a long time know I'm a huge BMW guy. I'm also a huge Dodge guy. I love both brands. And recently I've become a massive Cadillac fan, obviously with the STS build that I have in the Blackwing. So for me, I'm kind of intrigued a little bit, because while they would have to move the strut towers and stuff on the existing Dodge Charger to fit a 5.7 or a 6.4 or a Hellcat 6.2 liter engine, they wouldn't have to move the strut towers to put in a 3.9 liter Ferrari California engine. Now, I already know what the comments are going to say. TK, the Hurricane engine already makes... The Hurricane engine already makes this much horsepower. Look, cool story, bro. I like it. Like, you can say whatever you want. But if you can have a Charger that sounds like a Ferrari with that power... I don't know. I think I'd pick the 3.9 liter California engine with a Charger if I had the choice over an inline six that's plastic, as I showed in the SEMA booth. That entire engine, everything on the top, over the cams, everything on top of that engine is all plastic. You know what plastic does? And I can tell you, somebody who is a awesome BMW guy, it all gets brittle and it all breaks. So, believe me, you don't want that engine. I know someone's going to be like, well, the California engine has plastic on it. I know all engines have some plastic components on it. But I don't think the California has as much plastic as a Hurricane engine, though. Just saying. I mean, Stellantis could redesign the Hurricane and go back, or an aftermarket company, and they could make metal parts for that engine, and it could be dope. It could end up being an awesome engine. It's just, from what I'm seeing now, they're constantly in the shop, they're constantly breaking, and while they are accelerating the Charger and the Hurricane engines, you know, for output to get these out before summer of 2025, there's gonna... Like, Stellantis is playing with fire here, because if they still have the same issues they're having in the Wagoneers and the Rams with these Hurricane engines, they're still going to get a lot of bad press when people's Chargers are just dying and blowing head gaskets and overheating. It's not a good situation. But I digress. I'm interested. I am 100% interested in seeing if a Ferrari California engine would fit in this car. And obviously, you know, it's not going to be a Ferrari. They'll call it a Dodge. I'm sure they'll cheap out on parts somewhere, build, whatever. But if it could be reliable and have that power and that sound, whew, that would be kind of awesome. This would be kind of awesome. Anyways, I saw this I got a little email in from one of the engineers, and they said, hey, you know, they're considering using the build, the architecture from the 3.9 Ferrari California to build engines for this Dodge Charger potentially, and a new product at Maserati. So you know it wasn't going to be just Dodge. It's because they have everything. They would use it for different aspects. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.